sports. It's hard to imagine this not being a fun game to watch. It's the Saints going up against the Chargers. With that, it's time to hook up with our commentators in the booth as we turn it over to Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
Okay, Larry, we are a little less than 20 miles from downtown Los Angeles at the StubHub Center in Carson. I'll tell you, you wouldn't think 30,000 people could make this noise. That's half the size of a normal NFL stadium. But this is no normal crowd. They are ready to go as their Chargers get set to match up with the New Orleans Saints. Welcome in, everyone, alongside Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin. So you've got 1 week of preseason games in the books. Now you start to really assess some of the vets and, of course, some of the young players.
You're exactly right, because now there's a week's worth of film out there for everyone to watch. And for guys who may or may not make these particular teams, that film will be out there around the league, so maybe they can catch on somewhere else if they have to. But this would be a lot of fun to see how much time the veterans play versus how much time the young guys get.
And here come the Saints for their opening drive. They're led out by their 6-foot quarterback. You may have heard of him. From Purdue, it's Drew Brees.
His numbers sometimes are just absolutely staggering, because last year threw for the 4th highest total in NFL history, 5,208 yards. Okay, now if you look in the record books, here's the number that he occupies in single-season passing. 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th, and 11th best single seasons in NFL history. That's crazy.
Yeah, you said staggering when you started talking, and I'm going to finish it with staggering. What a career it's been, and it continues for Mr. Brees. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete. Let's get a quick look at the Saints offense.
Quarterback Drew Brees and head coach Sean Payton understand the passing game as well as anyone in the NFL, which led to a rating last year of #1 in passing and #1 in total overall offense. But the thing that they really do well is get the ball downfield. They understand holes in defenses, find receivers that way. But what they need to add, the running game, back to their mix. When they went to the Super Bowl and won it, they were #6 in the NFL. Last season, #16.
It's a gain of 11 yards that time, and it produces a new set of downs.
I do believe we'll see a little bit more of this as this game progresses, because when you can have that type of a gain in the middle of the defense, it hurts them in so many ways, because most teams like to be strong down the middle. And if you can sting them there, that'll open things up for you on the outside as well.
But that's where their big tight end, is so good, that middle third, the seam routes, the end routes. Yeah, you're right. Probably see more of that.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage and fortitude to go in the middle as well, and he's got it. There will always be a place for methodically marching the ball downfield. But when you can pick it up in big chunks and strike like that, have explosive plays, that's often the difference in winning and losing. Those types of plays that can knock a defense off balance, that'll drive a team towards a victory.
The intended target was Michael O'Matawanui, and that'll bring up 2nd down. Now Brees on the bootleg. And his throw's going to be incomplete. He was trying to get it that time to Ted Ginn. And now it's 3rd down. This, of course, week 2 of the preseason, but we did have a couple of teams that got the extra game. The Hall of Fame game was played on a Thursday this year between Arizona and Dallas.
Yeah, and they welcomed in this year's Hall of Fame class of 2017. And what a class it was. Morton Anderson, the kicker, Terrell Davis, Kenny Easley, Jerry Jones, Jason Taylor, LaDainian Tomlinson, and Kurt Warner.
And incomplete here on 3rd down. You know, during these preseason games, we're in week 2 right now, it's always funny looking at our spot charts up here in the booth, because with all the guys that might play in this one, it seems to get bigger and bigger each year.
Yeah, we pretty much supersize them, don't we? Because, you know, remember, they're carrying 90 now. And with the new rules, they'll carry 90 all the way through the preseason before they make the final cut. Oh, yeah, a lot of guys to learn for these games.
So, of course, they wanted to find the end zone, but when you go on the road and your first drive results in points, I think you're pretty happy.
You have to be, because you've taken it to the home team in this case. And while you may not have shut up the home crowd, you've quieted them down a little bit. Good way to start.
They go play action here on first down. And this is caught. First catch for Keenan Allen. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. A very solid gain of 27.
One thing I can say pretty safely, that route is not called if you don't have a guy who can throw the ball and put some mustard on it. Because if you go lollipop it in the middle of the field, bad things usually happen. It takes a strong-arm guy who can rifle it in there, and they were able to successfully complete that one.
And he's brought down. It'll go as a gain of 11 and a Charger first.
Boy, he does it at a high level, doesn't he? Because when I watch him, I think of his vision. Straight ahead, peripheral. Also has that sense of where holes are going to be before they actually open. I think that helps set him apart from many of the other backs in the league.
First down, Rivers. And the Saints pressure gets him. Brought down for a sack. Cameron Jordan in there to drop him, and it'll be a loss of about 8. You never want to give up a sack. From the O-line's perspective, they hate it for several reasons, especially because they felt like they let little brother down back there in the pocket.
Oh, no doubt. They have a ton of pride, and they go into every job wanting to keep that guy clean. They want that uniform with no grass stains, no dirt, nothing on it, but it's really, really difficult. You're talking about some terrific athletes who are trying to put him on the ground.
With that, let's check out how the Chargers line up on offense.
I have to admit, I've rather enjoyed watching Melvin Gordon's improvement as he's developed as an NFL player, because it started for me in college. Every year he was in school, he would add something extra to his game. First year, he knew how to run. He wanted to add pass receiving to his game. The next year, he wanted to add pass protection to his game. Did all of that. That turned him into a first-rounder, and now a front-line NFL back.
And incomplete. He can't hang on. Would have been a nice catch. Instead, it brings up a 4th down. On to punt, Drew Kaiser, second-year man from Texas A&M. Back deep for the Saints is Ted Ginn.